Hillary Clinton's campaign manager says he knows who's really to blame for the scandal.
Experts are telling us that Russian state actors broke into the DNC, stole these emails. The Russians are releasing these emails for the purpose of actually helping Donald Trump.
So let's get more on this now from RT's Gyani. She's been following events for us from Washington. Good evening to you, Gyani. It seems then that Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, though, isn't the only one blaming Russia for this.
Good evening, Andrew. In the wake of email leaks showing that the Democratic Party has conspired against Bernie Sanders in favor of Hillary Clinton from the beginning of the presidential race, the Clinton campaign made it about Russia. While Mrs. Clinton and her team have failed to address the content of the emails, they have made headlines saying Russia is behind the leaks. They have all but succeeded in diverting the public's attention from the fact that the Democratic Party has used its resources to undermine Bernie Sanders. Many media outlets have picked up the Clinton campaign's attack Russia strategy and without any hard evidence began to point fingers at Russia. The New York Times repeated the Clinton campaign allegation that Russian intelligence services are trying to disrupt the 2016 campaign. The article appears to convolute the newly leaked emails with the DNC documents that were leaked last month, including opposition research on Donald Trump. Back then, the Democratic Party and the cybersecurity firm they hired suggested they were hacked by 2 Russian intelligence agencies. The firm added that the 2 worked without knowledge of each other, which struck many people as odd, especially if considering the allegation that it was a government hack. Anyway, Wikileaks reacted to the convoluted article in the New York Times by saying, quote, "Major error in the story. The documents the article talks about are not the emails we released, in fact, not emails at all," end quote. Wikileaks itself does not reveal any information about the source of the email dump, but a hacker who calls himself Guccifer 2.0 came out and said, "It was me." That is the same Guccifer 2.0 who last month claimed to have hacked DNC computers and leaked the party's opposition research on Trump. But many don't believe Guccifer 2.0 is a lone hacker without any solid evidence. Many outlets have already cast him as a Russian agent. Last month, Vice interviewed that someone who calls himself Guccifer 2.0 in a Twitter chat. Here's how he described himself. You know, I really only assume it's a he because we don't know who that is. Quote, "I'm a hacker, manager, philosopher, women lover. I also like Gucci. I bring the light to people. I'm a freedom fighter, so you can choose what you like," end quote. When immediately after the leaks, the Clinton campaign began to blame Russia instead of addressing the revelations in the leaks, to many it sounded like a joke, like something you would see in the Onion fake news, except it was real news. Donald Trump picked up on the irony, tweeting, quote, "The new joke in town is that Russia leaked the disastrous DNC emails, which should never have been written, stupid, because Putin likes me," end quote. The real joke, many thought, was when hours after the chair of the Democratic Party, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, resigned over the leaked emails, she was hired by the Clinton campaign, confirming the underlying issue of the leaks, which is that the Democratic Party was never impartial, that from the beginning it worked for Hillary Clinton to undermine Bernie Sanders. Right now, the Clinton team is doing all possible to divert attention from that to unproved allegations that Russia was behind the leaks.
Fascinating stuff. Thanks, Gyani. That was RT's Gyani there live from Washington. Well, joining us from Philadelphia right now, where the Democratic Party convention is set to get underway, is political columnist and author Ted Rowell. Good evening to you, Ted. Good to get you back on. As we mentioned there, you're where the Democratic National Convention is taking place at the moment. Protests were held before it. What's it like there at the moment?
Well, I just got here. There was some traffic. I'm going to go check things out later today.
OK, so nothing to report so far then. During the Wikileaks revelations, or following the Wikileaks revelations, Bernie Sanders supporters obviously were pretty angry about what was said. Do you think they can influence this convention in any way? Do you think there'll be any ramifications?
It's really hard to see how there will not be some significant ramifications. I have some sources inside both campaigns who are not 100% sure that Hillary Clinton will be the nominee by Thursday. Now, I think the odds are still very much in her favor, but it's not 100%, and it would have been 100% if this hadn't happened.
OK, so what are your thoughts then on the nominee? I mean, you say it's not 100%. What else could happen?
Well, I mean, this is a developing story. There's some rumors afoot that there's more leaks forthcoming from Wikileaks. There are numerous. I have sources within the media who say they're working this story. There are allegations of collusion between the DNC and various major newspapers in the United States throughout the campaign. So even though Bernie Sanders has continued to encourage, as of today, his supporters to support Secretary Clinton, this movement is bigger than Senator Sanders. This is about a set of ideas, and people who are in favor of those ideas are going to continue to press for them, even if Bernie Sanders does not.
Right, well, it's intriguing, isn't it? I suppose that would explain then, listening to what you've just said there, why perhaps Hillary Clinton is so keen to blame Russia and perhaps divert attention away from what the emails are actually saying.
Yeah, well, whenever you don't like the content of a leak, and you're not willing to question the leak's authenticity, then you have to try to cast aspersions on the source of the leak. Look, nobody's questioning the authenticity of these documents. The DNC hasn't questioned them. The reason that Ms. Schultz is no longer the chairman of the DNC and is not going to be gaveling in the convention this evening is because they are legitimate. So obviously the DNC has a huge interest in trying to deflect the sordid fact that it was not the neutral party that it was supposed to be. And, you know, the thing is that they got caught in another email-related scandal under the aegis of Secretary Clinton. I mean, in both cases, you're talking about an organization that has failed to secure its server using basic security protocols. So it casts aspersion not only on the anti-Semitism and the other concerns that the Bernie Sanders campaign has brought up, but also the basic security protocols. You know, it doesn't really matter who's responsible for this. What matters is the content.
Sure, that's the most interesting bit. I suppose, though, Ted, people will say that, you know, Russia always seems to get blamed for everything, doesn't it, at the moment? Do people actually swallow this in the United States? Or do people actually question it, what, again, Russia?
Yeah, well, you know, for a long time it seemed to work, and I seem to have noticed, at least among Democrats, a lot of eye rolling now that this is, you know, once again, it's bad boy Putin. I mean, look, the thing is, there's no evidence whatsoever that the Russian government or Russian hackers or Russian individuals had anything to do with this, or that Guccifer 2.0, the hacker, is Russian or affiliated with the Russian government. So if they have any evidence, they should do what President Kennedy did during the Cuban Missile Crisis, go on TV and present it to the public. Otherwise, they should shut up until the results of the investigation are done. OK, on that note, Ted, we have to leave it. Nice to talk to you, though. I'm sure we'll come back to you again at some point during the convention. That was Ted Rao, political columnist and author too. Thank you.